And the grid starts to form here at Monza. Welcome everybody to what promises to be an excellent race. Trying to pick a winner has proved to be impossible so far, partly because no one combination of drivers has any real advantage, and secondly because there are so many strong combinations of drivers up and down the grid that the shortlist really becomes the bulk of that 54 strong entry. The front of the grid though is Ferrari and Jaguar. The Emil Frey Racing Jaguar will start second. It was the new qualifying format run for the first time in endurance this morning, where you take the average of the lap time of all three drivers across the three sessions and come up with the grid. So it was a fascinating contrast really between looking at the quick cars in isolated sessions and how that was affecting the grid. And we are good for the start of the race. It was here, of course, 12 months ago. We had that accident off the start line that caused a red flag, and one of the reasons that this new qualifying procedure has been brought in is to try and prevent those sorts of incidents and have people really where their pace puts them on the grid. John Watson down on the grid, David Addison trackside, and we are looking forward to this ultra competitive race. The Swiss flag on the Emil Frey Racing Jaguar. It's going to be started by Alex Fontana. Plenty of Mercedes on the grid. Looking further back, you see number 4, which is Mario Engel to start, the former double FIA GT World Cup winner. And the grid is a busy place because with so many cars, so many drivers, so many engineers, plus all the media and the VIPs down there doing the grid walk, it's very busy indeed. Now on the grid is John Watson with Alain Delamura, the Vice President of Blancpain. Let's hear from them.
Alain Delamura, Vice President of Blancpain Watches. We're standing here on, I mean, it's just an unbelievable scene. 54 cars about to charge into turn 1.
Yes, I have to say as usual now, but we do it for 9 years now, and I must say that the success is tremendous. Probably because of this long-term vision we have with this partnership we have with the Stéphane Rattel organization.
11 different brands on this 54 strong grid. On the front of the grid is the SMP Racing Ferrari with Davide Rigon, one of the drivers, and the Italian is with John.
Davide Rigon, I suppose you might have been the happiest man on Monza Park this morning. Pole position.
Yeah, pole position, fantastic lap for my teammates. It was an average this time, so we did really a good lap, everybody. So me, I was missing 1/10. I could do a little bit better, and really now focus for the race. Will be long, 3 hours. Everything can happen. There is a lot of car, so we need to manage it. The start will be very, very important. And let's hope to listen again this song.
So hold on to your hats, everybody. A 3-hour sprint is about to get underway. The pace car, as it is, peels into the pit lane. On the front of the grid there, Miguel Molina in the Ferrari alongside of Alex Fontana in the Jaguar. Mario Engel's on his toes in the blue Mercedes. Look who accelerates away as the lights go green and we go racing for the first time this year in the Blancpain GT Series Endurance Cup. It's going to be a drag race down to turn 1. On the inside line is Molina. On the outside line is Fontana in the Jaguar. Engel is going to try and make it 3 wide as he dives to the inside, and now, holding your breath, can they all get through turn 1 safely? Alex Buncombe joins in from the pit lane, and so far so good, although Hubert Haupt in the green Mercedes gets squeezed onto the grass. There's one of the grass on the inside, which at least keeps you out of trouble, and you can gain a whole heap of places by doing that as long as you don't get run wide into the gravel, which he does. There's a Ferrari off as well. That could be Demergian's car. It could have been a lot worse, John. Yeah,
the Audi would have had to given up that position and gained position, one would say unfairly, but here's the battle down into the second chicane, and already the top 4 cars, well, you can see Audi's dropped down. What's that rushing down the outside into the safety area?
It's a Stracker Mercedes that got a squeeze, was put onto the grass, back onto the circuit. Was that the Adrian Tambay car? Either way, I'm afraid it's lost a lot of ground as the leaders work their way up towards the first of the 2 Lesmo curves. This is lap 1 of 3 hours of racing. And amazingly, I've not seen a yellow flag be waved yet, although we've come perilously close to it. The field turning its way to the Variante Ascari for the first time, and it is a Ferrari that leads then on home soil. Jaguar second, Mercedes third, and in 4th place, Lamborghini. Wonderful noise as the cars power up towards the Variante Ascari. Molina, though, John, getting away a little bit.
Yeah, so he got the clear start, he got the benefit of the clear air as well, can choose where he wants on the racetrack, and has used that to full advantage, and already halfway around the lap he's pulled out the best part, I would say, of a second as they make their way through the exit of the Ascari, kicking dust up on the outside. That's where we had a major incident this morning. Everybody appears to have gotten through clear. Then the run down into Parabolica, and you're coming up to the completion of one lap. Watch to see if anybody can pick up the slipstream as they exit Parabolica. On damage to the Ferrari, number 11, that'll have to go into the pits. No doubt that will be about to fall. Is he going to make it to the... He probably doesn't realise there's damage to the car.
It'll be a black and orange meatball flag, won't it, I suspect, to say you've got a problem you may not be aware of. Michael Bronizeski is the driver, he's the AM in the Pro-Am Ferrari, there it is. disassembling itself as it goes past the pits, but he'll discover it now because he's got a brake in effect, and they're diving up the inside. Is that Raffaele Marciello? It is in 88, who gains a place at the expense of the Bentley, so he goes ahead of Vincent Avril.
Good pass. Oh, and he goes way wide in the exit. That'll have cost him a little tenth or two of a second, so accelerating down, coming through the cover ground. This is the view that Vincent Avril has got on the rear of an AMG GT3 Mercedes, and probably seen that before.
Indeed, and you'll see a lot more of it as well, I suspect, over 3 hours. So the leader is Miguel Molina, and in second spot, Alex Fontana. That's the Mercedes getting the squeeze on the opening lap. Back onto the circuit. Oh, that's like second lap in a row.
And it's the same car, second time indeed.
Yes. So there you go, 35 this time it is that gets the squeeze, and so that's the Petrov, Bunatov and Michael Meadows car. Michael Meadows at the wheel. Up the curb goes the new Lexus ahead of Michael Bronizeski. Renat Salikov tries to buy into this as well in the green Ferrari and gains a spot. So Bronizeski's race is going from bad to worse here, isn't it? Losing place after place.
He got muscle coming through the middle of the chicane, and the 333 Ferrari saw the opportunity, got alongside, captured the exit of the Ascari chicane, and that was job done.
A drive-through penalty for Guy Smith, causing a collision with car number 82 at the first corner, 82 being the Inaiken Keen Pereira Lamborghini. So poor old Guy Smith. History repeats, doesn't it? A drive-through penalty for car number 7. Have a look at the background. There's the Bentley. And on the right-hand side, yes, going into the corner at the back of the shot. So contact going into the chicane. And that was against the Lamborghini. Everybody else swerves round.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's so easy to say what's going on. There's the Lamborghini has been rotated in the middle of a field. Not a very pleasant situation to be in, either for the Lamborghini or for all those that are following through. There's 7. So there is the damage to the right front of the Bentley. Again, loads of carbon fibre. But is it in place? It looks like it is more superficial than that on the Bronizeski Ferrari, but nonetheless you can see the headlight, it's wobbling around, and there's still bits of the bodywork that are not anywhere near secure.
As Bortolotti gets ahead of Stuart Leonard, then diving up towards the second chicane. Niederhauser runs second in the Silver Cup, and third in the Silver Cup currently is Alex Frassinetti's Lamborghini.
Yeah, good move by Mirko Bortolotti, a fair move by Stuart Leonard, not being obstructive, not trying to deliberately block the Lamborghini, and intelligent driving from Stuart Leonard. It's a long way to go. We have 2 hours, 40 minutes of this race remaining. So pit stops. And we did ask the question to Vincent Voss about Audi's economy, and he was very evasive, I thought, in his response. He ran away. He wouldn't answer the question.
78 into the pit lane, Michele Beretta. Remember, he got lent on early on in the race, and I'm afraid to say the Barwell team identifies a problem. So Beretta back into his holster for the moment, so the car can be worked upon. There's Alex Buncombe from the pit lane, 26. He's on the back of Rolf Inaiken now in number 82.
Well, I wonder how long it will take for the Nissan to squeeze past the Lamborghini with the rate that Alex Buncombe has been making his way through the field. As you climb further towards the front of the field, that rate of overtaking will level out, but one would assume that the straight line performance, and again, what Nissan have done through the night to gain extra performance. And look, you can see just how much quicker he was off Lesmo too. He's able to pull out on acceleration, and that was on traction likewise, coming off Lesmo too. Easy, clean pass up the hill into Ascari. Alex Buncombe will be very happy indeed at this early phase. Raffaele Marciello and Mauro Engel, they are both in Mercedes, both. There's the 88 Mercedes trying to find a way past the Nissan, which is that Alex Buncombe? It is the Alex Buncombe car.
22.
Oh, 22 car. Okay, yeah. So it's getting lapped. But there's the third place, Mauro Engel. That's the car I think is going to be the most threatening. It's just hanging in close enough behind the lead 2 cars, but not so close it's going to hurt him in terms of either overheating the tyres, the brakes, or the motor. And if the Jaguar does get closer to the Ferrari, well, you can just simply be the beneficiary of 2 drivers getting a little bit anxious.
Porsche's got a problem. Yep. Romain Dumas has slowed. Look, and there's smoke from the Lamborghini as well.
Big
there.
smoke.
But Romain Dumas has got a problem.
Yeah, I don't know if that's tyre smoke from the Lamborghini or whether it's something else. But the Porsche clearly in trouble there. You see the Lamborghini coming down. Is there any bodywork damage that we can see?
Rolf Inaiken's car.
It looks like was it the puncture? I wonder if he's got a left rear puncture, because that looks like rubber smoke coming off the back. The Porsche makes its way into the pits, slows down to the required 50 kilometers per hour, interminably long. at that kind of speed, but that's the required speed. Look how you can almost walk quicker. Lamborghini comes in, so
yeah, quicker.
Can't do anything until those cars are up on the jacks. So no tire changes, no refueling. And the Porsche comes to a standstill as well. So they're putting the fuel hose on. Car is up more or less at an identical time. That's a normal thing to do when a car comes in unexpectedly. You will automatically refuel it. Then you sort the problem out. And then if the car's fit to go, it's sent back.
There in trouble is the Falcon Horse BMW Anders Buchart at the wheel of it. That's the Parabolica where he's had his drama, I think. But ideally, you don't want to be stopping before the hour, because otherwise you need a splash and dash at the end. So you want to eat the fuel out to the 60-minute mark. BMW, I fear, may have had a tap here, John.
Yes, I think you can see the Ferraris crawling over the curb as if the BMW didn't have any, and Andres didn't have a clue that the Ferrari was where it was. Maybe there is a blind spot, but you know how often side mirrors do create blind spots. That may have been one of the reasons why the contact occurred, but the Ferrari was all over the curb and the inside to try and avoid any contact, so I think that will pass just as a racing incident.
There, fourth, is Patrick Niederhauser. That's the Lamborghini Gallardo. That, John, really shouldn't be in fourth place, should it?
I don't know why it is in fourth place, but the fact is it's been quick all weekend and it's there on merit, and it looks to be running, I would say, comfortably at the pace it's doing. It's not losing any ground to the third place Maro Engel, and he's not being caught by Christopher Mies further 2.3 seconds behind. And really, I mean, if you just rocked up with your brand new Lamborghini Huracan, I accept that there's obviously clearly balance of performances issues or differences between the Huracan and the Gallardo. Nevertheless, a superb performance.
Replay here of Guy Smith, who is coming through.
Yes.
And Michael Broniszewski taps him. Oh no, round goes the Bentley, and it gets worse and worse for Guy Smith because he's facing the wrong way.
And for Broniszewski, because he'd been the master again of his own, let's say, eagerness. He didn't need to have contact with these two cars now, trying to sort out which gear they're in to get themselves, and that's just another setback. The 7 Bentley not to date having the best run.
Here in the AM Cup, you've got Alexander West in 188, trying to find his way up past the Rinaldi Ferrari just up the road ahead. That's the McLaren of Alexander West, Chris Harris and Chris Goodwin, who was the real star in that car. The other McLaren, when they got the 2, Ben Barnicoat in 24th place at the moment. The days of seeing the Garage 59 car of Shane Van Gisbergen and Kurt Redegar and Rob Bell out front are a bit of a memory for the moment. McLaren's struggling around here. And here's another replay. This is being investigated now by the stewards. Guy Smith cleanly through on the inside. Job done.
Correctly. Mikhail Broniszewski feels that maybe if he just sticks to the nose of the Ferrari up the inside, that the Bentley will magically, like David Copperfield would do so many times in one of his shows, disappear.
Yeah.
But there ain't any magic. This is not magic. That's just clumsy.
And round it goes. So neither party wins, and Andrea Bertolini's car, and Nick Homerson at the wheel, just escapes. He gains 2 places, but he could have been involved in that as well. So Guy Smith's car off the road. We just had a whole load of debris fly from a car going over the start line, not the timing line, the start line, near pit out. So we've got bits of debris on the road. I don't know whether this is going to be just a slippery surface flag, whether it'll be blown away by the airflow of the cars, or whether the race director needs to have a look at this. If we stay on board with Alvaro Perret, you'll see bits of this in a moment when he comes past the pit. Here we go. There's one big chunk.
What should go when a car hits that?
Yeah, and there are more bits, I'll tell you, that have been blown left and right. So the race director will have a look at this.
Could be virtual safety car, or certainly a full course yellow for that to be cleared away. That's a substantial chunk.
There is a man with a board on the start line, and I'm wondering whether we might be getting a full course yellow here. The marshals are getting ready. It's a full course yellow board that is being picked up, and we go full course yellow. It is indeed a full course yellow to neutralise the race so that the marshals can get the bodywork off the track. We'll have this confirmed, I think, in a moment by the race director, but we do have a full course yellow.
Yellow procedure to remove debris on track. It will be a very short one.
33 cars.
There you go, confirmation. There are the marshals quickly. They've identified where all the bits are, and it won't take that long to scoop them up. It'll be longer to put them on eBay, but once they've got all the bits out of the way, then on short notice, as Alain Adon would call it, we'll go back to green and the race will continue.
Yeah, good work by the track officials to get those errant bits of
Green
bodywork.
flag on short notice.
Told you. Green flag on short notice, the race director says.
Who is awake and who's dozing?
Yeah, well, exactly.
There we see just the second car in line is the lead car. Mercedes right up on the tail.
Green flag, green flag.
Go, go, go! Mercedes on the programme, gets past Alex Fontana. Where were you? You don't have a nap at this time of the afternoon when you're in the middle of a race.
He was changing tracks on the iPod, wasn't he? That means that he was slow away, and through and past him comes Maro Engel. So there you go, look, you've spent 25 laps defending your position, and by not being quick enough on your toes. And now, do we blame the driver or do we blame the team as well, John? Does the team have a part to play in this to say, go, 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 or is it just down to the driver?
Well, the message should go through to the driver. Every driver should get the message at the same time. Now, there can be communication issues. Radios are frequently a cause of many of the miscommunications, but one thing is clear, Alex Fontana was caught napping, and Maro Engel didn't need to be asked twice to take the opportunity. Wow, look at the Ferrari sliding the back end of the car. Rear tires really been given a workout. Second place Mercedes into the pit lane. This might be the undercut that you could see this car take the lead.
Could well be. But it also perhaps suggests that Ferrari has got good fuel economy because it's going further on the tank. So
going further, slightly further, but rear tires beginning to show well.
And we understand that 17's pit stop time is being looked at. So, as I mentioned earlier on, if you are under the 72 seconds, there'll be an alarm on the race director's computer, on his information panel, and really, you haven't got any wriggle room because there's the clock. It tells you you were under. And
it's GPS, so they know everything you do in the race car. But thank God they don't have a smellometer in a race car. Now, the 72 Ferrari has got to come in this lap, simply just to cover the Mercedes that's just made his pit stop.
He takes a wider line out of the parabolica. Of course, he's on older tyres, and some of the positions on fresh, and he does peel to the right. In he comes. So 32 laps done by the leader on a tank of fuel.
So the battle is going to be between the number 4 Mercedes and the 72 Ferrari coming in. So which of those two cars is going to get the benefit? It ought to be pretty much even Stevens.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a change...
But you never know.
If there's a change of place, it means either somebody's made a very good stop, or someone's made a bad stop.
Brake dust coming off that right front wheel as they took the wheel off. So Ferrari using the brakes heavily, more so than anybody else has seen so far.
Jaguar a bit smoky as well, but just going back to my point, if there's a place change, it either means that one team has made a really bad pit stop, or somebody potentially is under the pit stop time.
The Ferrari is rolling, and the Mercedes is yet to come into sight, but still 50 kilometers per hour. There is the Mercedes coming into Parabolica, Lucas Stoltz, and he will pick up the slipstream. Jaguar rolling as well, whereas the Ferrari just about coming now. He can get on it, but he's got to accelerate up to top speed, whereas the Mercedes is running at top speed, and the Ferrari just about sneaks it out, gets ahead. Mercedes gets up alongside. Can it make the pass? The Straka car wasn't prepared. Well, it ran wide, but it's still not conceding, and that's frustrating for Lucas Stoltz because that early opening, that first flying lap on those tires, he didn't want to have to battle a similar car, and that's what he's ended up with side by side through Curva Grande. And I would have thought maybe a little bit more assistance from the Straka car in this circumstance would have been considered helpful. The Lamborghini, they can't get the air jacks. It's not up on the air jacks. They shouldn't be refueling. This will be a penalty for the Reiter team. Car, they tried to get it up. It wouldn't go up. The back went up, but the front didn't. So they're just carrying on doing the refueling. They can't change wheels and tires because they can't get the car up to do so. There we go. Pass possible down the outside, but defended comfortably by the Ferrari.
So this is for the race lead. Lucas Stoltz wide in, tight out, trying to make his move against the Ferrari. Mikhail Alyoshin fending him off as they come nose to tail out on the parabolica. And now it's about who has got the heaviest right foot, who's got the bigger whatnots for braking at the end of the pit straight. So in the tow, Lucas Stoltz right on the tail of the Ferrari. They go past the pits. Is he close enough? The tow is working. He's catching. He goes to the inside line. Alyoshin tries to defend as they hit the brakes. There's all that traffic ahead. And it's still the Ferrari in the lead, only just. Now, can I quickly go back to these full-course yellow speeds that are being looked at? The significant ones are the number 4 Mercedes, where Maro Engel was driving it, 24 Patrick Niederhauser's Lamborghini, Guy Smith in the Bentley, and Michael Broniszewski, number 11 Ferrari. They're the significant ones that are being looked at by the officials.
Whoa!
Talk about vibrations.
Right, cowboy, that is... Lesmo won us that.
I think so, and the Audi has gone off at fair old pace. Now, which Audi is that? Is that the 26? It is, which means back onto the circuit it comes.
Drive-through penalty to car 7, 4, 11, 24, 97, 114 and 888 not respecting the speed during the full course yellow procedure.
So, remember I was telling you about those cars being looked at for not adhering to the speed under the full course yellow. The data, the telemetry, it's all there, and so it's another drive-through for Guy Smith, but also number 4 Mercedes gets a drive-through as well. So the second place car will lose the advantage now because of this drive-through.
Yes, and I think that in general, adhering to regulations is being strictly enforced, and that's a policy that is applied now to both sprints and to endurance Blancpain championship events. So if you transgress, you will get penalised, and that's the case. A large number of cars made a minor error for which they're serving, in relative terms, a major penalty.
Just going back to the Audi that went rally crossing, it was Neil Stevenart, the driver, just to get that out of the way. So Neil Stevenart was the one in the Santalot car that we saw ploughing off the road. You're on board at the moment with Maxi Buch, who is 5th, and they're just ahead of him. Number 1 Audi, Alex Riberas, and he has got Buch crawling all over him like a rash now, as here he comes up the inside to the Curva Grande. This is going to be the change for 4th place. The Mercedes through on the inside. Job done. Maxi Buch goes through, uses all of the road to squeeze Riberas out, make sure he can't stay alongside him for the inside at this chicane. In he turns, so you've got now Buch 4th, and he could gain another place when the number 4 Mercedes serves the drive-through, as now Riberas comes back at him on the inside line, elbows out, Maxi Buch hangs onto the position. Wonderful racing this.
Yeah, good overtaking by Maxi Buch, but he was slightly slower on the exit of the second chicane, and that gave the Audi the opportunity once again to try and get alongside. Max Buch said, no, you're not going to have any of this. Move the car left to right, block the Audi. Sometimes those moves are not very pretty, but Maxi Buch had to do it to consolidate that position.
So that's your drive-through. Number 4 down the pit lane, Lucas Stoltz serves the drive-through. So that will put now up into 2nd spot again Adrian Zaug, and it's going to put Maxi Buch up into 3rd place potentially in the number 43 Mercedes. Look at this now, the 88 Mercedes. Tristan Vautier crawling all over the back of the Audi there as they dive down to the Parabolica, right round the outside of Alex Riberas he goes. That was a brave move by Vautier.
Yeah, that was a brave move. Not the easiest of places to do it, to go the long way around. But obviously he felt confident to do it. He's executed it cleanly, gained that position, and that sees Vautier up into 4th place behind Maximilian Buch, who is, roughly 2.2 seconds further down the road. So you can see Buch just going into, and look at the mess. Oh, wow, bit of fortune indeed for Tristan Vautier, because he was wrong-footed, but actually he's able to go past the Lamborghini as the Bratislava Club Mercedes likewise. So what a mess down in turn 1, but no contact, just the Lamborghini rotating.
That was Leo Machitsky, I think, that was off the road in the Barwell car. So more drama. Alyoshin still leads the way as the Mercedes there launch themselves over the curbs. Oh dear, Bob Neville's team's early promise has come to naught. Both cars look in the pit box. Matt Parry, having been out briefly in 23, back in, and 22 is there as well. So all that potential unfulfilled. 24 is in. This is a drive-through penalty, isn't it?
Yeah, this is for the infringement when it came to the air jacks in the car. They weren't able to get the air jacks lifting the car before they attached the fuel bowser. I hate seeing cars abusing curbs. Look at that on the outside. Is that one of the chicanes?
Yeah. Is that the Variante Ascari?
Not quite sure where that is. Well, magnificent shot.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly that's worthy of an award. Max Buch, 3rd place, but 1.4 seconds behind the Jaguar.
Yeah.
There is the gap. That's the view from the young German. 0.8 of a second, 1 second, 1.1 second over the, you've got the best part of 3 seconds in 3 laps.
So he's absolutely flying, isn't he? And not only this, but he's lapping quicker, of course, than the race leader as well. So can he get past the Jaguar swiftly? The longer he's stuck there behind, the more Alyoshin's Ferrari will have a chance. Over the start line has gone the Ferrari. Gap first to second, 5.5. Gap first to third is 6. Well, it was 11, wasn't it, a while ago? So net, Maxi Buch is catching the race leader. He's got, effectively, 28.5 minutes to get up to Alyoshin. so that he can affect the race lead situation before the next round of pit stops, because Davide Rigon is going to be very quick in the leading car.
Look how quick he made ground up, under braking into the first chicane and in the transition from right to left. Adrian Zog having to wait for the grip to feel the bite from the Jaguar before he gets back on the throttle. Of course, here he's on the throttle earlier, so he accelerates sooner and then stretches that advantage, but he's sort of stymied the pace. Oh, and there's an incident where a slower car, what's a yellow flag down, and there's a yellow flag zone down here. That's the reason why, but that's not done at the Parabolica.
Full course yellow, that's why they've slowed, full course yellow. So they slowed at the Parabolica for a full course yellow, and it's the marker at the first chicane that's caused it.
And Adrian Zog suddenly
for a short full course yellow procedure to remove debris in turn 2.
I mean, that really caught the lead.
We'll restart on short notice. Okay.
Lead 3 cars. Adrian Zog had to really get on the bankers, and so did the third place Mercedes. But will this be
3,
a
2, 1?
Watch and see if the Jaguar goes quickly as the Mercedes. Yeah, well, pretty much even Stevens. Well, no, it's not. Look what's happened to Adrian Zog. He's just
he's gone into limp home mode.
He got it moving, and then suddenly it stopped moving. It's barely, well, it's up to kind of race speed, but that was strange.
88's gone past as well. Look at the Mercedes. It's as though the Jaguar has got some sort of limp home mode that's activated. It couldn't get away, could it?
He got initially a roll, and then it suddenly stopped going forward.
So it is now Alyoshin leading from Maxi Bouk, from Tristan Vautier, and down to 4th and very nearly 5th is the Jaguar, because number 1 Alex Riberas in the Audi is right there behind.
Yeah, and he's got momentum. Likewise, he's going to try and do something. He sees it up one way, can't get down the inside because the Jaguar, Adrian Zog, trying to get through the Porsche coming into the second chicane as we look at the Emile Frey. Oh, and watch pass almost 3 abreast coming into Lesmo 1. Can the Audi squeeze down the inside? Not really, but worrying moments for Adrian Zog, trying to consolidate, having to go one way and the other to defend against the Audi, which is really putting more pressure in this return to race conditions.
The Ferrari just in the lead. Alyoshin covers the inside line. Now what about Bouk? If he goes wide in, can he swing across and be tight out of the corner? Let's see whether the opportunity presents into the Parabolica. He's forced to go the long way round. Is that going to work? It is! Fantastic move! Maxi Bouk round the outside into the lead. Brilliant!
Absolutely outstanding. I mean, that is a courageous pass. I mean, to do that on the outside, on the bit of the racetrack, which is the dirtier part of the racetrack, not the race line, carry the speed, not lose control of the car, get ahead, that is outstanding in my opinion. Look at the Straka team, they are absolutely ebullient with the efforts. Maximilian Bouk puts the 43 Mercedes finally into the lead after how many laps? Well, virtually an entire session of trying to run down the lead. Ferrari finally catching it and then making a maneuver. I didn't anticipate that, and I think that's really a creative and an imaginative watch again. Ferrari did compromise itself by staying so far to the right, coming down, so had to brake slightly earlier to get the car slowed down, but Maxi Bouk, he just went the long way around. I dread to think how dirty the outside of the track at that point is, but he had the speed to sweep around.
Brave stuff from Maxi Bouk round the outside. Honestly, he must have whatnots the size of space hoppers to pull that move off. That was outstanding. Now, for 3rd place, into the pit lane, rather than fighting for position, comes number 1. So Zog stays 3rd, in comes number 1, Alex Riberas, and Alyoshin, in fact, is in the pits as well. So the Ferrari, having lost its lead, comes into the pit lane a lap later.
And that may be just a very smart play for the Ferrari. It's lost the lead, so do your pit stop, get in. We've got an hour and 3 minutes of this race remaining. So very quickly we will see Davide Rigon, the driver who was of the drivers in qualifying the quickest. So Davide Rigon will be into that car. And in comes Maximilian Bouk. So he's completed his session just over an hour behind the wheel. Good run, good fuel economy for the lead Mercedes.
So that gives us 58 minutes to go. And we don't have to worry certainly about this car having a splash and dash, and I wouldn't have thought the Ferrari would need to think about it either. In it comes. So Bouk will give way to Gertz, Maxi B to Maxi G.
Fire, somewhere, fuel fire.
Cameron Griffin Ferrari, isn't it?
Yeah, fuel fire, just residue fuel getting spilled. Because those turbos on turbocharged cars red hot. So even though the vapor is enough to be ignited, but fuel or fire extinguished very quickly, and that car is probably just a little more than a flash. It's not the car burning, it's just the fumes or the residue of any spilled fuel getting into body cracks and dripping down onto the turbos. 63, up the hill. So this is a car we haven't seen an awful lot of so far, but so that is ahead of Audi number 1 and the 72 Ferrari. It's going through this washout. Christian Engelhardt behind the wheel.
But it has really leapfrogged, hasn't it, on the last round of stops. It's gone ahead of the number 1 Dries Van Thor Audi, and it's also ahead of 72 Ferrari. So they're all double stoppers, and 63 is now starting to become a factor finally for the race lead. Maxi Goetz there heads onto the circuit, and have a look further back down the pit straight because the number 63 Lamborghini is on its way. There's the Mercedes, which will keep the advantage, but now it's going to be Goetz versus Christian Engelhardt into the final stint of the race, and that was something we didn't really expect at all.
Well, that's sort of not quite popped up out of nowhere. If you watch the number 4, and this is the car that was really one of the, well, in fact, at one point the quickest car by significant margin. Christian Vaudier did his stint. Now the car has been handed over to Hjalmar Berman.
Won't it? Yeah, taking over from Lukas Stoltz.
And there's the Jaguar coming into the pits.
That's 54, which Adrian Zaug had just got back into the lead of the race with. So who does he give that over to? Now it's going to be Michael Grenier. Over the timing line then comes the Lamborghini. So Christian Engelhardt pushing on, and you've got the Audi of Dries Van Thor looking for a way to try to get up the inside here. Look as they dive down towards turn 1. Van Thor goes through, takes the place, brave stuff on the inside, and that for track position is for second spot now. So through goes the number 1 Audi, and that's another car. Vincent Voss was saying to you pre-race, we've never qualified this well really at Monza, and now the car is coming back into the mix as well. We were saying in pre-qualifying yesterday, the Audis looked a bit breathless, but right now, Dries Van Thor is on the money. So we've been concentrating on the Maxi Book catch-up for the race lead, but the number 1 Audi has been chipping away. Christopher Mies to then Alex Riveras. They pitted early to get Van Thor into the car, and it's there. Engelhardt's 3rd, Hjalmar Berman is 4th, Andrea Bertolini's Ferrari coming under attack from the Attempto car. 5th place now is the Jaguar of Michael Grenier, and 6th, which should be the car you're looking at there, is now Calvin van der Linde, number 66, in the Attempto Audi. 7th is Davide Rigon. Now, why has Rigon dropped so far back? The car was in 2nd place when it pitted, and yet Rigon now is down in 7th spot. What's gone on there?
I can't tell you. I mean, clearly the car we know has had really great pace all the way through.
But I think it's got a problem because, look, that car did a slow last lap, but it's not picking up speed. It's got a problem, hasn't it?
Yeah, the car was slow. In fact, on that last lap, 72 Ferrari was roughly 5 seconds slower. Yeah. 6 seconds slower than the lead car. So there is a problem. The car is being overtaken.
Places, yeah.
So that's a huge disappointment to the Ferrari team. They had done everything they could possibly do to lead this race. Come into the pit stop, hand over to David Rigo, and it's just gone backwards.
Yeah.
There is Dries Van Thor, comes across the line. The gap was 2.4 seconds. There you can see the Porsche between the Audi. Now Dries Van Thor has got to be patient. He's got to let the Porsche get through the first chicane before he can think about attacking. Look at the gaps. 1 second and 66, 0.6 of a second and 67, 0.6 of a second. I mean, where is that time coming from? Max Goetz is not slow by any standard, but Dries Van Thor is absolutely flying.
Vincent Voss looks at the pictures. Thierry Tassin over his shoulder looking at the track, and there are the 2 leaders. This is where the Audi always seems to have an advantage. It always closes up here, but then it's through the parabolica where the grunt can go. The Mercedes stretches the advantage once again. So 2 different types of GT car here, and you see how the BOP works to try and balance them and work well. You see this car?
1 must give back 1 position. Car 1 overtook outside track limits.
You heard from the race director.
Give back 1 position.
Car number 1 has got to give up the lead because it was the wrong side of the white line past the pits when it took the advantage.
I didn't want to make a comment on it because I wasn't sure of that regulation at this particular racetrack. That white line defines the racetrack, but you see so frequently at Monza, drivers using that additional bit of track.
There it is. There's the place given back. So we start again.
So there's still the same opportunity because we've got another lap car ahead of us. So that was a decision. I mean, everybody knows that you've got to stay within track limits. We can clearly see that Dries Van Thor, there's that demarcating line. He went over that. He got the momentum, he got the pass done, but it was deemed to be an unfair pass. Had to hand it back. And here he comes again. Is he going to steam down the inside this time? Has to cut back to the left. As Goetz goes in. Contact! Can they get through? Oh, well saved, Dries Van Thor. That was, wow, look at Vincent Voss's eyes are bulging.
But he's got half an hour to go. Was that a bit desperate, or was that just ultimate commitment? Either way, it's not work, and he's lost time.
Well, both cars were moving around. Van Voor went back to the left, and then Goetz came and sort of shut that off. And Dries Van Voor really hadn't anywhere to go, but even further left, managed to keep the car pretty much on the track. Left side just caught a little bit of the grass, but
See, here's the move. So look, in fairness, the Mercedes has got 2 wheels off the track, but all 4. It was brave. It was very brave by Vantor, and it was certainly committed, but he was off the track. For that, the stewards say, you can't keep the lead, give it back, which he's done.
Yeah, so this is on board the Mercedes. Watch for the Audi coming to the right. There's the Audi, had all 4 wheels off. Then the track goes from effectively almost 4 wide down into this 2 wide as you come down. Again, Van Voor, this is the move where the contact occurred. Very fortunate to keep the car in control. That could have been a car out of the race, in the barriers. Oh, I mean, really, really close, intense racing from the lead pair.
43, the leader must give up 1 position. So the race leader now being told to give up a place. Was that for squeezing the Audi? So bearing in mind the Audi was all 4 wheels off and the Mercedes had 2 wheels off. So 43 must give up 1 position due to the incident in turn 1, we're now being told.
43 must give up 1 position due to the incident that happened in turn 1.
Forcing Dries Van Voor wide.
43 give up 1 position due to the incident that happened in turn 1.
I mean, that's a controversial, I think, because it was racing.
Yeah.
And it was defense of the race leader. He squeezed, Dries had gone back quickly to the left, and Goetz had gone to the left.
And he was always ahead. The Mercedes was always ahead in that. So, and you said, as a racing driver, good stuff.
Yes, I mean, that is proper racing. Yeah. Anyway, that's the judgment that has been made by race director, and we know that there is no leniency given to anything that is perceived or conceded. And now Dries Van Voor is given the opportunity to get past. Now that he's passed, Maxi Goetz has got to do all he can to reclaim. And Vincent Voss, you can see the sigh of relief, thinking, well, justice in a sense has been repaid. We got penalised for our pass, but for that squeeze on our driver Van Voor, we've been given the position back.
So this is the first place.
Closing again under brakes.
But they've been like this for half an hour. And still Berman can't prise open this door. There's Charlie Eastwood trying to be part of that leading battle. So the gap now, Van Voor to Goetz, is half a second. Can the Mercedes do anything to wrong foot the young Belgian ahead? So you've got the Mercedes of Fumanelli, there's Frins, and then there's Maxime Martin, 7th, 8th, 9th here. Frins to the outside, he does a boot. Brave stuff. Is he going to hold it? No, he runs wide, he's off the road. He's going to lose 1 spot, he's going to lose 2 because Maxime Martin goes through as well. So 1 up, 2 down for Robin Frins.
Great idea. Sadly, the execution wasn't up to the standard of the intention. I mean, really, really good racing all the way through on board with Robin Frins as he now gets again into the slipstream of Maxime Martin's Aston Martin. That goes defensive.
This is the third place still. Yeah, Engelhardt ahead of Berman, who has got the image of the rear of that Lamborghini burnt into his mind now because he's been staring at it for so long. But again, just as in the case of the second place Mercedes, it can't find an opportunity to get past. They're similar battles, aren't they? Audi R8, Lamborghini Huracan, very similar cars. And the Mercedes here just can't find a way through. And Engelhardt's not making a mistake. Vantor, though, is getting away. He's fractionally quicker in both sectors. So perhaps inevitably, once he'd hit the front, the lead gap is extending. And look, Berman is closing, and he's quicker through the Variante Ascari this time. 20 minutes to go. Maro Engel watching on where he thinks can Jelmer Berman find a way by. He's not for the want of trying off Jelmer Berman, but there's always this half a length or so between them. So Alexander Matschel, there he is. That's your Pro-Am leader, turning his way out of the second Lesbo curve. As now Jelmer Berman, he's actually coming under more attack from Mick Grenier than he can attack the Lamborghini. They're up behind Norbert Siedler. Lambo through, Mercedes through. Berman with a huge amount of speed into the corner, but the danger is Grenier. They're in 5th place, and now the Mercedes up alongside. Finally, he's done it. The door is forced open, but has he got the drag in a straight line? I think the Lamborghini's going to be quicker, but let's see. The Mercedes has its nose in front. It's going to be the last of the late breakers down towards turn 1. Engelhardt's got his nose in front, but he's on the outside. Here comes Grenier, gets a toe off Berman. Berman is ahead, he's done it finally. On the inside, he's gone 3rd, but can he get the car slowed up in time? Yes, he can, and he has worked for that for the best part of an hour.
That will be a very happy Jelmer Berman. He's worked, as you say, David, extremely hard to make that pass work, and now he's done it. Christian Engelhardt had the advantage on the second half of the straight, but not as they went on to lap 92. Finally, the Mercedes gets up into that final podium position, and who's to say that the Jaguar currently in 5th isn't going to make it to 4th?
Well, absolutely, because Grenier is all over Engelhardt like a rash. But at WRT, it's time to celebrate, because into the Parabolica for the last time comes Dries van Thor. He makes his way now up towards the timing line. It is going to be a win in the first Blancpain GT Series Endurance Cup race of the year for Audi, for Belgian Audi Club Team WRT, for Dries van Thor, Christopher Mies and Alex Riberas here at Monza. Alex and Christopher embrace. Dries van Thor celebrates in the car. Maxi Goertz, Maxi Buch and Alvaro Perez second. Jelmer Berman is going to be third in the car shared with Lukas Stoltz and Maro Engel. And don't forget, they did an extra pit stop because there was the drive-through incurred by Maro Engel. Silver Cup won by Emil Frey. The Pro-Am will be won by number 333, the Rinaldi Ferrari. Checkered flag will wave, and it's going to be the Mercedes that comes through now to break the timing beam, and Fabien Barthez wins the AM Cup. So Dries van Thor helmet off, balaclava off, and will make his way to join his teammates. A great effort by Dries van Thor, Christopher Mies and Alex Riberas. Race winners with John.
Dries, we've got to come to you first. I mean, I'm breathless watching you commentating. I don't know what it was like behind the wheel, but that was absolutely a stunning drive.
Yeah, I must say a big congrats to the team. They gave me a great car, a great strategy, great teammates. A big thanks to Audi because they made a hell of a car. So yeah, I don't know what to say. It was a great stint. Could do my laps the whole time. And then at the end we had some fights with Goertz, with Maxi. We had a small touch, and then he had to give me my position back. So yeah, it was amazing.
I mean, when you were told you had to give that position back, having worked so hard to take the lead, your heart must have sunk in your mouth.
Yeah, I didn't know I was not allowed to overtake on this part, so I immediately gave the place back and tried to attack straight away again, and you know, that's what I did, and it worked out brilliantly, and I'm mega happy.
And then when he squeezed, well, there was a squeeze going into turn one. You had to put 2 wheels on the grass. You still made the corner.
Yeah, I don't know how I did that, but yeah, it was a small squeeze. I was with 2 wheels on the grass. I had some oversteer, but then I tried to make the corner because I didn't want to get a penalty for cutting the corner or something. And then they told me to get back in my rhythm and push, and that's what I did, and yeah, mega happy.
Let's just have a look at the result then. Number 1 Audi, the winning car by 2 seconds after 3 hours of racing. Dries van Thor, Christopher Mies and Alex Riberas from Maxi Buch and Goertz and Alvaro Perez. Third, Lukas Stoltz, Jelmer Berman and Maro Engel ahead of Andrea Caldarelli, Christian Engelhardt and Mirko Bortolotti. Fifth, the winning Silver Cup car of Alex Fontana, Adrian Zaug and Mick Grenier. Sixth, Stein and Peter Schotthorst ahead of Sheldon van der Linde in that, with the winning Pro-Am entry being found in 18th place. Alexander Matschel bringing the car home. Dominik Schwager and Renat Salikov, the other 2 drivers, they win in Pro-Am from 31, which is the Team Parker Racing Bentley that did lead for a good chunk. Derek Pearce, Rob Smith, Seb Morris ahead of Mick Homerson, Louis Machiels and Andrea Bertolini. The winners of Pro-Am, Renat Salikov, Alexander Matschel and Dominik Schwager. The Silver Cup won by the Jaguar of Alex Fontana, Adrian Zaug and Mikael Grenier. Now Alain Delimura steps forward to give the winners' trophies then to the drivers that won by just 2.017 seconds for Belgian Audi Club Team WRT, and as entrants for the season in both sprint and endurance, €25,000 goes the way of Vincent Voss and his merry men. A win in the first Blancpain GT Series Endurance Cup race of the year to Christopher Mies, Dries van Thor and Alex Riberas. The champagne now to be sprayed by the drivers and the celebrations underway. So thanks for your company here at Monza. We'll see what Brands hatch in a couple of weeks' time as the story continues. For now, though, from David Addison and John Watson, it's goodbye from Monza.